And so I get out the car and I am like, this is real right now. I have my hands behind my back and I'm taking steps back and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And I finally get to the cop and he handcuffs me. Yes, I'm spilling all the tea and I don't care who knows, okay? Because it's G with the T. So get ready to sip slow. Okay, so this video is a little more serious than the other ones I filmed today. This really messed with me and I just wanted to speak on it, especially because there's a lot that's going on in this world right now that is a clear sign that Black people, Black women, Black men are not respected in society, especially by law enforcement. So I have to speak on it. The purpose of my channel is to speak on things that are close to me that can benefit other people. So yeah, if you want to watch this video, please stay tuned and let's get into the video. All right, so one day, me and a group of friends, it was 4 of us girls. It was me, Melissa, Shanti, and we'll call one of the girls Diamond and the other Needy, okay, because she was very needy. Anyways, so yeah, so it was me, Diamond, Shanti, Melissa, and Needy. We all were like, we're going out this weekend, we're gonna have a good time, you know, we're finally of age, like, let's do this thing where all of us can, you know, because, you know, everybody turns 21 at a different time. So thought I broke a nail. But yeah, so everybody turns 21 at a different time. So we were just excited to be going out, and me and Shanti were a little more familiar with Hollywood than they were. So we were excited to be taking them and showing them, you know, I was showing them one of my favorite spots to go to, which is the Room in Hollywood. If you guys have never been there, once the quarantine is over, you should definitely consider going there because the crowd is always, you know, cool, DJ's cool, and you know, drinks are cheap. Okay, so yeah, so we head down to Hollywood, we get some drinks and we get some marijuana, and you know, I'm like, I'll drive, I'll be the designated driver. If any of my friends know me, they know I like to be the driver because I don't ever like to depend on getting home with nobody else, and I'm just a really safe and good driver. So you ain't gotta worry when you with me, and I ain't gotta worry when I'm with you. So so I'm like, yeah, I'll drive or whatever. Mind you, I forget that my dad has, I'm airing him out. I'm sorry, dad, but not sorry because you did this to me, and this is what people gotta know, okay? So my dad had warrants for his arrest over parking tickets. Like, bro, you gotta be more responsible than that. Not to say everybody pays their parking tickets on time, but don't let it get so bad that you get arrested. So yeah, so he had warrants out for his arrest on my license plate, which the car I had before this also had the same issue. So from time to time, I would get stopped. So kind of like a backstory to this story because it has to do with the cops. I got stopped, I want to say probably 7 times because of this, and it was very scary for me because I'm a young Black girl and I'm seeing everything that goes down, and who knows what could happen. So one day I was at one of Dodo Bird's, this dude, I was at Dodo Bird's football game, and his friend rode with me and Shanti back to his house because he was getting a ride from his roommates or whatever. He was gonna take a while to finish getting ready or whatever. So he's like, just meet me back at the house, you know, if you could take him, cool. Which I was cool with his friend, not like that. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and make sure you subscribe, okay? Now back to the video. So yeah, so I pull up to the house. I'm there, and his house is, I'm coming down this side of the street. His house is on the opposite side. So I have to make a U-turn in order to find parking, which I slowed down already in order to find parking, because if I made a U-turn and there was no parking there, I would just have to try and find parking on the other side of the street. So I was like, okay, I see a parking spot. I started to slow down. Then I made a U-turn, not knowing that behind me there was an undercover cop car, which was all black. Didn't realize that it was a cop car, because normally I can tell when I see a cop car. And so I didn't know, and so I mean, I didn't do anything illegal either. I made a U-turn, and I was going to parallel park into a parking space in front of my ex-boyfriend Dodo Bird's house, so, or his apartment. And so I'm literally pulling up to the car in front of me to do, to back in, and then the car, made a U-turn behind me, which I didn't think was odd, because people do that from time to time. And so as I'm about to back out, I see the lights go on, and I'm like, oh my God. And I already know what the reason is, because like I said, this has happened to me 7 times. So by the time he got to me, I was already upset. And I think so too. This was a night where I came face to face with cotton balls. So yeah, I definitely will probably do the cotton ball story very soon, because I met up with that girl more than 6 times, okay? Oh, Lord. But yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're definitely gonna need to catch yourself up with some of my videos, which will be in the description down below or at the end of this video, or you could just click on my channel, subscribe, so you can see all my videos, okay? Now back to the video. So I was like, already upset, because I already knew what the reason was and that I wasn't doing nothing. And so when he comes up, he was being a big old douchebag. Like I was clearly already upset because I knew what was going on, and he's like,
where's David?
And I'm like, I don't know anything about him. I don't know where he lives. I don't know anything. So I really can't help you. He shines a light on my ex-boyfriend's friend, his face. And we're gonna call him Tall Guy, because he's tall. So Tall Guy is in the back, and he's like,
who's that?
And I'm like, that's not him. My dad is a 50-something-year-old man. This dude is in his 20s. He doesn't look like, And out of nowhere, I see all these cop cars. So I told you guys I was going down and I made a U-turn. I see all these cop cars going straight down, and then I see them make a U-turn, and then I see them all parked. It was like 4 or 5 cars parked behind him. When I seen that, I was very just upset, because he had not only been at my car for probably only 30 seconds to a minute, but he called back up before he even saw what was going on. He just saw black people in a car and saw that there was a warrant and just assumed, like, first of all, I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you need to assess the situation before you call for backup, because that could have made the situation a lot more extreme if I was to be, somebody that he was looking for, because you never know the reactions of how people are going to feel and if they're going to feel targeted. So you really do have to be in control of the situation, which I think that was bad on his part, because it's as simple as parking tickets. This is not somebody who murdered somebody. It's not somebody who stole anything. It's parking tickets, which parking tickets are bogus anyways. Like, but yeah. So I'm like upset, and he could tell I'm upset, and he's asking me questions, and he's like, I'm not the bad guy in this situation. And it's like, dude, why are you? And he had such an attitude. He was like such a douchebag. Every single time he was talking to me and asking questions, like, didn't even know me. Like, the other people finally pulled off. They never even came, but like once they saw it was nothing, like, they probably were like, why'd you waste my time? How just coming up here for no reason. But anyways, so fast forward to this situation. So me and my girls get to Hollywood. So this is another situation where obviously I'm driving, so this is when they're going to pull me over, when I'm driving. So I'm at the light of where I need to turn to go into a parking lot that's like really right by the room where I need to go. So I turn left onto the street. Mind you, I did see that there was a cop car on this side, so intersection. So I'm on this side and he's on this side. My light turns, you know, yellow. I was already out, when it was green. My light turns yellow and I finally take the, turn because people have stopped at this point. You know when it's going. And if you know Hollywood and you know that when you go out there on a Friday, Saturday night, whatever, even a Thursday night, it's hella crazy, hella cars. It's hard to turn on streets, sometimes it's hard to turn left. So anyway, so I turned left and I'm thinking, I see the cop car come behind me and I'm like in my head, anytime, I don't know about you guys, but for the most part, anytime a cop is anywhere near me, my heart starts to race. I start to get, a little bit of anxiety, even if I'm not doing anything. Like, it's just a feeling you get because you never know with the cops, especially being young, black, and in America. Like, it's a scary world. So my heart was like racing a little bit, and so we pull like into the parking lot, so it's right, the parking lot is on the right side of the street right when I turn left. And so when I finally turn left and I get into the parking lot, when I turn right and I get into the parking lot, I actually have to be stopped to pay first, and the cop is behind me. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if they were gonna pull me over already, they probably would have already had their sirens on, because at this point it's probably like a minute or 2 minutes, and I'm trying to get the money from my homegirls, like, who's paying for parking or whatever. And so they're handing me the money and we're taking quite a bit of time. I want to say it took us about 2-3 minutes to like get the money and then go inside. And so the cop goes in behind us, and I'm thinking they're just gonna be patrolling, it's Friday night, people be out here acting crazy and wild, they just gonna do their job. So we park and I'm thinking, okay, we're in the clear, like we're good, because they didn't put their sirens on. As soon as I find a good parking spot, the cop puts their lights on. You guys, like I said, we had bought alcohol and we had marijuana and we were smoking on the way there. Do not, this is a disclaimer, you should not be drinking or driving or smoking and driving whatsoever. You will get a DUI, you will get in trouble, just don't chance it. So this is, like I said, all of these stories are for you guys to learn from my mistakes and to also, hear my experiences on some things. So I personally was, I had only taken a little shot. I didn't take any, a lot, because I was driving and I wanted to be responsible. And so, but I was smoking, and the car obviously did smell like smoke. And so the sirens are going on and they're not saying anything. I think they had at this point ran the plates, and I'm sitting there praying, and my friends are in the back freaking out. They're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, and I'm just sitting there like,
Lord Jesus, please be with us. Please God, like, Lord Jesus, if you save us, God, I will promise that I will be a saint. I will do everything that you need me to do in God's name. Please, Lord, please.
Like, I was really just channeling the spirit of the Lord, because I'm like, I cannot go to jail. I cannot get a DUI. Like, I cannot, okay? So I'm like, oh my God, like, this is gonna happen. Like, I just knew that there was no way out of it, actually. So I'm just like, let it be, small at least. And I'm praying to God, like, just praying. They're freaking out. I'm ignoring them. And then out of nowhere, I hear the cop on the loudspeaker. He goes,
Will the driver step out of the car with your hands behind your back, walk backwards slowly?
And so I get out the car and I am like, this is real right now. I have my hands behind my back and I'm taking steps back and I'm like, oh my God. And I finally get to the cop and he handcuffs me. And I'm like, this is real, like, and, he calls everybody out one by one. He goes,
well, the passenger, get out.
same thing.
He's like, the next one. He's like, okay, the next one. He's like, okay, the next one.
And at that point, that's all of us. And he's like,
okay, the next one.
And we all scream,
there's nobody else.
And, you know, because we're thinking, like, why are you even doing this right now? Like, I'm confused. Like, what did he see or what reasoning? So, like I said, this is very important. We were on the main street together. I was on the main street with the cop. So the cop could see me and Shanti. Mai was driving a truck, a Ford Explorer, navy blue, and the back windows were tinted. So not tinted like super dark, but they were tinted, and if it's nighttime, you can't really see anything in there. So for me, in my head, I'm trying to conceptualize everything and figure out what is going on. What's the reasoning behind, you know, us getting handcuffs? And so then it clicked for me. They're looking for a black male. Why else? Why else run my license plate? Why else, you know, take all this time behind me? Why let me pay for parking? Why let me find parking?
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
You know, like, it didn't make any sense to me, and I'm just like, wow, like, you know. And so they're like, okay, we're gonna search the car, and I'm just like freaking out because I'm like, they're gonna find the marijuana, they're gonna find the alcohol, and mind you, Needy, her dumb self, she gonna have the alcohol bottle cap. She lost it in the midst of everything. She lost the damn cap. She lost the freaking cap. So I'm like, and I didn't know this because they end up, like, you know, they're looking through the car and they're like, we found marijuana, because we had things pre-rolled. And he's like, we found the marijuana and we found an open bottle of liquor. And I'm like, how is it open? Like, you know, like, how is it open? And so they smelled it, obviously. So I'm like, I'm getting a DUI. Like, I'm getting a DUI. Like, so I'm like upset, and at this point he called backup, which was only one car, another person, so it's two more cops that came. And they're doing their search or whatever, and I'm at this point, all of us are having a moment. I freak out and I start crying because I realize what's going on, and I see all my beautiful friends handcuffed. Mind you, we looked bad. Like, hair, nails, clothes, we smelled good. Like, we were looking bomb. Like, we was wearing mesh and sequins and all types of stuff, like leather. Like, we were a bad group of biatches. Okay, like, could nobody touch us? Like, so we were just sitting there. We all had our moment where we all broke down and started crying because we were in handcuffs and we didn't know what was gonna happen, and we were just all freaking out. And, you know, when the other cops came, you know, they briefed them or whatever, and so they're sitting there talking to us, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, I can't believe this effing dude. I can't believe my dad has me in this situation. Like, I just cannot believe this. Like, just going off because I'm literally in handcuffs. At this point, I probably had only been like 10-15 minutes, but I'm still in handcuffs, and I'm just messed up and freaking out. And I guess they had to do like paperwork or whatever, so it was taking them a cool little minute to, like, you know, really like come and talk to us. But like, two cops were sitting there and they were talking to us, and, you know, they're just trying to keep us calm. They're like, this is all gonna be over soon, you know, just relax, just try to stay calm, you know, we understand the situation. And they were just giving me advice on, like, you know, what I should do. I'm telling you, these two cops that came after, they were God sent. They really were what I was praying for. They were God sent. so I'm just like, praise God. Anyways, so the dude, one of the dudes that came, he's like,
yeah, just stay calm. He's like, I would just recommend getting a new license plate.
oh, you, and I've heard that before, but obviously, like, I just didn't think it would ever get this serious, and it did. And so, yeah, you know, just trying to keep us calm. And I asked him, I'm like, well, what made him stop us? And he's like, honestly, I can't tell you. And, you know, because I wanted to know, like, what about us? Was it the truck? Was it me and Shanti? Because my other three friends are Latina. So I'm like, and they couldn't see them, obviously. So I'm thinking, like, maybe they were thinking that there was black dudes in the back and that it was just two girls in the front. You know, a lot of things ran through my mind. He said, I
couldn't tell you, but what I can tell you is that some police cars do have a scanner on their thing, and it allows them to see if someone has warrants. It'll just pop up that there's a warrant, you know.
And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't think that's the case, because he took a while before he put his sirens on. If your scanner would have told you there was a warrant, you should have flipped that thing right away. So in my head, I'm like, no, that can't be true. And so he was like, okay, well, we're gonna write you guys a ticket. Thank God it was just a ticket. He's like, we're
gonna write you a ticket for the marijuana, and we're gonna write you a ticket for the alcohol.
And I'm like, first of all, I don't want either ticket. Like, how we gonna get out of these tickets? So in the midst of all this, we have people staring at us. Like, it's not fun to be stared at while you're getting handcuffed, because obviously people are thinking all these things. They don't know what the reasoning is. It just looks really suspicious. And some girl was actually sitting there talking about us, and we were like cussing her out, like right there, like in handcuffs and everything. Like,
who are you talking about, you stupid? Like, don't come in at us like, who is you talking about? You don't even know nothing. You don't know nothing. You stupid bitch. Like,
we were going off on her. So I feel like I failed to mention that this cop was a white man. Not a surprise at all. And so there was a Armenian guy who was drunk and disorderly. He was going off, and he was just saying, he was kind of defending us in a way. I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but you know, the cop was like, if you don't be quiet, I'm coming over there next. And I could just sense that, I'm an empath as well, I believe. I could just sense that he was kind of fueled by this negative energy, that he really just liked it, like he thrives off of it or something. So I could just sense that. And so once that cop kind of got away, the tension kind of, like, you know, came off of us a little bit, and the cops that came for backup kind of took control of the situation. And I told them, so I'm like, well,
me and Needy have our medical cards, so can you let us off with that?
And the other dude that was there, the nicer cop, nice cop, he was like,
yeah, we can do that. Like, you know, since you guys have,
like, what can you do? Like, I'm allowed to have this on my possession. Like, and it's really not gonna go up in court, so they rather not waste their time with that. So I'm like, yeah, take that off. And so they took it off, but we still got charged with the open container, which, thank God, that's all that it was. I obviously wasn't drunk, so they weren't gonna take me in. And I mean, I was acting disorderly. I was upset. I was very upset, emotionally just messed up. Like, you know, especially when something you're going through has to do with a parent that you're not close with. It just really just upset me so much. And so, you know, we were at this point in handcuffs for 30 minutes, and he's like, okay, we're almost done. And, you know, and so he's like, just hang tight. It's only going to be a couple more minutes. We'll process the tickets or whatever, and you guys can be on your way. So that cop, white cop, is dealing with the guy, and he's enjoying his time over there. You know, he ended up putting him in handcuffs and arresting him that night. I guess he just wanted to make an arrest. So he ended up putting the guy in handcuffs and arresting him, and we finally got to be freed out of our handcuffs. and we still went into the club. At this point, it's probably about 20 to 30 minutes till 2 a.m. So if you know anything about Cali, like after 2 a.m. it's done, like, you know. So it was about 2 a.m. and we still decided, or 1:30 a.m. and we still decided to go and have a good time despite how this cop was treating us. So
Like shutting down.